This improv story is based on the idea woman buys expensive kitchen blender, let the story commence. Mary, so I'm going to have to make this a quick one because I want to catch up. And Mary, it's coming up for Christmas. Yet another period of the year where you're forced to stuff your face with food and Christmas dinner, and then there's all the chocolate you get, and then there's all the coronavirus fucking weight and all this fucking pish. And this isn't based on a true story or anything like that. If it's no one thing, it's another, and you're encouraged to do this and encouraged to think about that. And she just thought, right, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get myself a blender. Because all I do is just sit in the house and eat chocolate. I just sit in the house all day, eat chocolate and crisps and biscuits. So this is partly based on a true story. I'm going to get one of the blenders, one of the ones that you can shove, like, say, carrots in and cucumber in and all that sort of stuff, and then you blend it, and it gives you a nice healthy kind of smoothie sort of thing, and it really fills you up. But it's very good for you, and it's just magic. One of the ones. No food processor, but the kind of blender. I'm going to get myself a good one like that. Is it? She saw it in an advert one night, a bullet thing or something like that. So she went to a shop and she said she was going to order online. She thought, I'm going to get out the fucking house and I'm going to order for a fucking shop instead of just sitting in all day. I'm scared to go at the fucking front door now. The way things have got, I need to get out and actually interact with people and remind myself that people aren't as scary as what I think they are. I need to get out the house and I need to get talking to people. So she went to Argos, and see, instead of looking in the catalogue, she thought, I want to go right up to the counter and I want to ask them. I want to speak to people. Because this lockdown has been terrible for me. So she went up to the counter and she said, hi, I'm looking for a blender to get fit. She had rehearsed it in the house. Hi, I'm looking for a blender to get fit. This lockdown's been terrible and I just need to get myself back to feeling active. Do you have a blender? The catalogue, it's all there in the catalogue. That's the way it works here. I know, but she's like fucking stutter there, that man. I know. Okay. So she went to the catalogues and like food, kitchen utensils, and she's just looking up to the person behind the counter who was serving somebody. There was somebody next to her, or with their catalogue. It's funny this, isn't it? Funny this, isn't it? What we're doing, said Mary. The person wasn't looking. The person didn't react because they just assumed. Somebody saying near you, it's funny this, isn't it, what we're doing? Would you really think that's for you? So the person was still looking down at the catalogue thing. Mary went, excuse me, and the person went, oh. She went, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to give a fright. Excuse me, social distancing. And she went, oh, sorry, of course, they had masks on, but of course, sorry. Just then, some wee bastard who had stolen a bus rammed it right through the front of Argos. Some wee bastard. So we had rammed it right through the front of Argos. And the wee bastard hadn't put his seatbelt on. After all, you're not going to knock a bus. Wearing a seatbelt to these wee guys isn't like a safety precaution. It's a legal requirement, if you know what I mean. You've got to put a seatbelt on because the fucking police have told you to. They don't see it as an actual safety thing, so they didn't have the seatbelt on because they've fucking stolen a bus. They live outside the law, they don't care. And because of that, the wee guy actually went crashing right through the windscreen and it was hanging out. About 7 people were killed instantly. 3 people were injured lying on the ground. Mary was alright though. And Mary went up to the wee guy that was hanging out the window. And the wee guy was like, "To my mommy, I'm sorry, I got in with the wrong crowd." And Mary didn't pay attention. She was looking out towards the member of staff who had kind of went, you know, the catalogues are there, which is fair enough, but surely the member of staff should have noticed that Mary had stuttered there of words and was obviously having some sort of difficulty communicating through a lack of social interaction, or that's just the way she is, and didn't offer any kind of smiles or sympathy or anything like, "Oh, listen, I would love to be able to help you, but you know the way it works in here, I have to keep serving people. But if you look at the catalogue, if there's any help, if I can come over and look for you if you want." Nothing like that. And she didn't like that. Mary didn't like that. So she looked to see where that person was, the person that was behind the counter, and they were fucked. Half of their body was missing, but they were still alive. A bit of the kind of masonry had fallen on the person's waist and was actually keeping the body together. So everything was all right. They'd lost everything. Everything for the waist down. Genitals, arsehole, all gone. But they had everything for the waist up. The organs were getting held in place by this bit of masonry. It's a bit like, have you ever made what would you call it? Not burrito, what would you call it? When you get, kind of wrap thing, you get the circular thing, Mexican sort of thing, you put the stuff there, and then you wrap it there, and a fajita. And like if you don't, like you've got to kind of leave a wee bit of room at the bottom so you can sort of fold it up, so you're not lifting it up and it fucking all goes at the bottom. But maybe sometimes you don't leave enough room at the bottom, so you've actually got to hold it fucking shut. That's what the masonry was doing. The masonry was basically like holding that person's body fajita, the tortilla, which was the skin, was actually holding it together. And Mary went out and said, "Remember me?" And the person went, "Oh, what's the matter? You having trouble speaking there?" said Mary. And Mary said, "By the way, the only thing holding you together is that fucking fact. You know what?" And she nudged a wee bit. She put her foot on the bit of masonry, big block of stone, and she nudged it forward with her foot slightly, and saw a wee bit of the juices of the body coming out, like a fajita. If you go like that, wee bits come out. The what is it? Is it sour cream? Like that coming out. She just nudged it a wee bit, started to leak, and he went, no, and then she put it back, and she said, "You weren't nice to me, by the way. Strong women. No, this is a big bit of rock, big bit of masonry that's fallen on the ground. You can push it a wee bit with your foot." She's not picking the whole fucking thing up like a fucking strong man. She's just pushing it a wee bit. And she said, "I'm the only thing that's coming between you and dying." She said, "Have you got a family?"
I,
Who? What have you got?
a wife,
What else?
2 wins.
Are they lovely? Are they lovely? 2 lovely, lovely kids?
I,
What ages?
5 and 10.
Oh, and she'd nudged the masonry forward a wee bit, and some more of the juices came out, a wee bit of the organs came out. Just came out a wee bit. And she put the rock back again, the masonry back, and it squashed like one of the intestines. And she went, "Did you not feel that?"
Feel what?
Oh, that's right. The intestines haven't really got pain sort of thingamabobs. That's interesting, that. And she said, like, "Listen, I'm getting bored of this now." And she crouched down to this guy and she spat in his face and then took one of the other wee bits of masonry, that kind of stone about that size, and she went, "Open up." And she opened up the guy's jaw and smashed his teeth in like that. And then she walked to the door as if she was leaving. And then she went like that, tricked you, and doubled back and took a big Ronnie up like it was fucking rugby or something, and kicked the guy's head right off. Because it had been weakened. Then she went out to the wee guy who had knocked the bus and had driven the bus in, beheaded him. And basically she basically finished everybody off in the whole place, anybody that was on the verge of dying. And then she ran out after it. People were passing by. She ran out like that. "Oh, something terrible's happened in there. I tried to save them. Oh." And then she got an award presented by the Scottish government. Presented. And you know what the funny thing is? Let me think about it. The funny thing is, I know it now. The funny thing is, see when she looked back in there, it was like they'd been put through a fucking kitchen blender. The end. I could have maybe had her put people through a blender. But that wouldn't be true because it's a true story. How do I know? See that wee guy that got beheaded? Remember, so wee guy's only 14. Remember, you stay alive for a wee while after getting beheaded. You're actually still conscious. I was actually one of the other survivors. I was pretending to be dead. And that wee guy spoke to me. And he said, "Please, tell my story. Tell everyone. I never had the chance to grow up and realise my mistakes." Fucking farted on it, man. Thank you very much. It's a true story. A 14-year-old wise beyond his years. Remember that, let's say, a 14-year-old, they're actually governed quite a lot by, let's say, hormones and all that sort of shit. When the heat is actually taken off, there's that cuts the supply of the hormones and they suddenly gain wisdom. That is true. 14-year-old with 2 wins? No, the guy that worked there was... No, the guy that worked there. No! The 14-year-old, the one that was the one fucking driving the bus. The one behind the counter was the one with the 2 wins.